What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right. So before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to Aram for his contribution to the channel. Much respect for you showing love to the channel, and he's one of my most frequent contributors. And I really appreciate him always gracing his channel with his excellent comments, his excellent commentary regarding the NBA, especially vintage NBA, and just showing love, what I'm saying, whether it's in the comment section, whether it's in, the PayPal or whatever, what I'm saying. And anybody else that wants to show love to this channel, if you can, if you choose to, you can do so in the links in the description box via the PayPal or the Cash App. And, if you guys are interested in the third link, the Patreon, it's only $2 per month, and I take requests. And over on the Patreon, I'm able to talk in a way that I can't talk on YouTube and talk about topics and subjects that I can't really talk about on YouTube. At least my channel, I can't talk about anymore. All right. Now, shifting gears from sports to something that I frequently do, talking about music or groups. This is another one of those groups that I wouldn't say dominated in the 1990s, but they had their heyday in the mid to late 1990s when there was a huge glut of female R&B groups, and they're actually still active today, minus one member, and that is Allure. Now, Allure is an American, New York-based R&B group that formed in the 1990s as a quartet. Um, they are best known for their hit single "All Cried Out" with 112, which reached number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. The original members were Aaliyah Gray, Lenny Belcher, now known as Him Lee, Lalisha Sanders, and Akisa Mendez. Now they come out of Long Island, New York, and they were all attending Fiorella H. LaGuardia High School in New York City when they decided to become a girl group. They added Lenny Belcher, who was attending the Julia Richmond High School at the time, soon afterwards. For the next 2 years, the girls rehearsed and found management connections, which brought them to the attention of Pokey from production team Trackmasters. Pokey worked with the girls and signed them to Trackmasters under the name Allure and helped them sign with Mariah Carey's record label Crave Records in 1997. Their debut single, Head Over Heels, which featured Nas, was released in February of 1997, becoming a hit and peaking at number 35 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 20 on the U.S. Rhythmic Top 40. It was soon followed by the single No Question, which featured LL Cool J, which garnered some airplay, ahead of the release of their self-titled debut album Allure on May 6, 1997. Like, when I think of that time period, that's like the peak of the flossy, glossy era. You know what I'm saying? Like all those shiny ass videos, bright videos, all those lights and shit that was, I think those videos was one of the reasons why they started putting out those warnings may cause epileptic seizures. Remember that shit? Remember a lot of kids started having uh, epileptic seizures because of all the lights and the glossy and the shine and shit. Mace and fucking P. Diddy. This my window. Boom, boom, boom. I can't stand the rain. Boom, 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 boom. All in the fucking video. Big ass lips. Lights flashing there fucking where. You belong to the city. Jay-Z did it. You belong to the night. But anyway, their next single, a cover of All Cried Out featuring 112, was released in August of 97, became their biggest hit to date, peaking at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 9 on the R&B chart. With the success of the single, The album was certified gold by the RIAA, and a fourth single, Last Chance, which was co-written by Carey, followed. 2 years later, in 1999, they released the single You're the Only One for Me from the hit 1999 film Runaway Bride. After the dissolution of Crave Records, Allure signed with MCA Records in 2000, issuing the single Enjoy Yourself, which peaked at number 50 on the Billboard R&B chart. Their sophomore album, Sunny Days, followed on September 25th, 2001, which probably was not a really good time for music, you know, think about it, and opened at number 68 on the Billboard R&B albums chart. A second single, Cool With Me, was pushed to radio, yet did not receive much support from the label. Soon afterwards, member Hem Lee, also known as Lenny Belcher, left the group, and the group remained as a trio. The next year, in 2002, they appeared in the Tom Jones Mr. Jones album and the single The Letter. The album was produced by Wyclef Jean, Jerry Wonder Duplessis, and Jones himself. 2 years later, they signed with NBA players Ron Artest's newly formed label, True Warrior Records, distributed by Lightyear Entertainment. Their third album, Chapter 3, in reference to their lineup change and being their third album, was released on November 23rd, 2004. November 23rd, 2004. Wasn't that around the time that ODB checked out of here? I remember being like in November 2004. You know, speaking of that, that was an avoidable death by him. You know what I'm saying? I think, if I'm not mistaken, he ingested cocaine. Uh, I think because he was going to travel, so he ingested it, and I think the fucking bag burst open because of the gastric juices in his stomach or whatever, and he fucking OD'd or some shit like that. Um, but I think I remember being around that time, November 2004. But anyway, this album went unnoticed by the general public, although it did receive considerable press through the Ron Artest suspension from the NBA that year. Two singles were released: 2004's Uh-Oh featuring reggae artist Elephant Man, and 2005's I Think I'm in Love featuring rapper Joe Budden. The album was subsequently released in the UK the following year, 2006, including a new track, You Are the Man, and a remix of the single, Hate to Love You. I think I remember that. In 2008, Allure formed their own label, Allah Recordings, and released their first EP, Patiently Waiting, on November 1st, 2008. Their fourth album, Time's Up, followed on February 10th, 2010. The next year, Allure signed with MC Shan's label, Bridgeworks, which has digital distribution with Interscope Records. In 2014, the group released a new single, Butterflies, featuring MC Shan. 3 years ago, in 2018, the group announced work on a new album. The first single from the project, I Do, was announced with a talent search for a female rapper to be included on the song. The single, now titled Like I Do and featuring rapper Deja B, was released in November. The music video premiered on November the 12th, and they are still to this day an active group, long since down from being a quartet and a trio, but they're still active today. So this is a shout out to R&B group Allure, Staying Power.